Hey, good morning, everybody. So much has happened in the last couple of weeks since I made a video the last time. I absolutely love what's going on in Canada with the Canadian truckers and the Freedom Convoy standing up for freedom and totally changing the system, the dynamic in Canada from tyranny to pushing back on this awful Prime Minister Trudeau, who's gone and run away into hiding, and he's still making these terrible statements and accusations against ordinary citizens. But, he's someone who supported BLM and all these people when they were out protesting, when there was supposed to be a lockdown in summer 2020. They got, all the support. But when the people really come to fight for freedom against these tyrannical rules, which are destroying freedom, destroying democracy, he absolutely smears them and denigrates them. But everybody can see through that now. His days are numbered. Thank God. And the same thing is happening to some extent around the world. In the UK here, the people have pushed back on the Johnson regime. They wanted to implement another lockdown, a fourth lockdown in the winter. We know that. But they couldn't do it because the people were out on the streets in huge numbers in December 2021, January 2022, and they've even been forced to row back a little bit on their no jab, no job plans for 100,000 NHS workers. But we must remember that they still forced that through on care home workers, and right now 40,000 plus care home workers are out of a job because they didn't back down, they didn't want an injection, they didn't get one, and they've been fired. And this is a direct result of what the Johnson regime has done. And there's no respite for them. There's no mass plan or program for them to get their jobs back as they should be. They should all be immediately reinstated, and the threat should be removed from over their heads. There's absolutely no reason to threaten people with losing their jobs if they're a care home worker or either a doctor or a nurse or someone else who works in the NHS, particularly when you no longer need an injection if you're a normal visitor to go and visit someone who's a resident in a care home or a patient in a hospital. So there's absolutely no logical reason to make the staff have this as well. It's utterly ridiculous, and this is a terrible psychological attack on 160,000 plus people in the sector. It's absolutely disgusting, and they should remove all of this threat immediately. But what they've done is they're trying to bring it through the back door, as we heard from Javid this week, that they're putting pressure on the regulators to put pressure on nurses and doctors to have an injection, and trying to get it so that they can't register as a doctor or a nurse if they haven't had an injection, which is essentially no jab, no job through the back door, vaccine mandates through the back door by stealth. So this is utterly deceptive and duplicitous and nefarious, which is what we've come to be used to from this regime. It's appalling. So, I'm actually amazed at the amount of Stockholm syndrome that there is in the UK, saying, oh, well, Boris isn't so bad. Yes, he is. It's absolutely terrible. I know everybody else in Parliament will be even worse, but that's no reason to support him. We need to get rid of the whole stinking lot of them, Tory, Labour, SNP, and put in new people who are going to be for the people, and as I say often, that's why I've started the Heritage Party, because we want to create an alternative of people who are not professional politicians, who are not going to be with their fingers in the till, taking billions of pounds for this project and tens of millions of pounds for that project, but will be responsible with our money and will respect people's fundamental freedoms and respect the traditions and the heritage of our nation rather than undermine them. That's what we need. But you got to keep your eye on the ball, because they are introducing bill after bill after bill after bill in Parliament, one by one, which are going to take away our freedoms. They're implementing what I call the infrastructure of tyranny, and they've already pushed through the Covert Human Intelligence Sources Act, which gives agents of the state the right to break the law if they are collecting information on you. That hasn't been the situation before, but the Tories have pushed it through, of course, with the help of Labour under Keir Starmer. And you've got the police, crime, courts and sentencing bill. There's some good things in there, but there are some really bad things in there as well, which completely undermine our fundamental freedoms, particularly the freedom to protest and the freedom to assemble if you want to assemble for a protest. And then we've got the online safety bill, which is even worse because there's in there a 5-year prison sentence for so-called spreading misinformation. But who decides what's misinformation? Misinformation just going to be defined by the government as anything that the government doesn't like. So if I say, as I've said for 2 years, I have very, very serious concerns about the safety of these injections which they're putting into tens of millions of people and now trying to inject kids with, you would be deemed as a conspiracy theorist who's spreading misinformation, which is absolutely wrong. You have the freedom to be wrong in a free society with free speech. And if you're wrong, then people should be able to debate with you, and you can have a discussion about this, and you can find out on the basis of evidence who's right. But what happens now is you get out of line, they just throw a smear at you, and then they say you're spreading misinformation, they cancel you, they throw you off social media, they don't allow you onto mainstream media television shows. At the moment, I've got a 30-day ban off on Facebook, simply for saying that I am not going to be taking an injection whose manufacturers are not liable if there are serious adverse health events or effects and other things. I've got a 30-day ban from that. And that means that I can't post on Facebook. I can't even post for the Heritage Party either, because I run that page. So, you know, this is really interfering with democracy. But you've got to remember all of this. It's not about the lockdown. It's not about masks. It's not about a virus. It's not about an injection, vaccine, whatever. Ultimately, it's about bringing in the digital identity system, the social credit scoring system with a central bank digital currency, because there is a big financial crisis waiting in the wings. And the people that know this, the World Economic Forum and so on, want to change the financial system and get rid of cash so that you will be on a single global central bank digital currency run by the World Bank. That's ultimately what this is about. And it's no secret, you know, Klaus Schwab has written a whole book about it called The Great Reset. You can buy it and you can read it for yourself. I mean, it's incredible that people are still talking about this as though it's some kind of conspiracy theory when it's all out there. You know, the latest from the World Economic Forum is that they think critical race theory is a good idea. When actually, you know, this is the epitome of cultural Marxism, which is destructive and divisive to society, but then that's just creating division between people on the basis of their skin color so that they could divert you into fighting each other, so you're not aware and you're not thinking about what they want to do, which is to take away all of our freedoms forever for good with a global matrix where we're all attached to this electronic grid with an electronic central bank currency. So you got to remember that, and when we're fighting this is the end goal, and we always need to remember all the distractions that we've got are taking our eye off the ball here, and we need to make sure that doesn't happen. And you know, we're in this country, whether it's Tory, Labour, Lib Dem, Green, SNP, they're all going in the same direction. And then you've got, you know, the usual Tory pressure valves. Say no more. I think you know what I'm talking about. But we are starting with the Heritage Party. We're out of the system, and we're not part of the globalist system. And we want to bring power back to the people. We want to restore our fundamental freedoms forever, for good. and create prosperity which is based on freedom and free markets, free speech, freedom of conscience, freedom of choice, freedom to trade, freedom to assemble, freedom to protest. But hopefully people will be genuinely happy. You won't have the fake happiness from the World Economic Forum. If you got your freedom, you'll be so happy you won't want to protest because you'll just be enjoying your life and enjoying this wonderful country. So, do think of us in the Heritage Party. Please do join us. I'll make a little plug again because we've got local elections coming up in May this year, and that is a great opportunity for us to stand and try to get into local councils and start making a difference in local areas and building up there so that we can get ready for the general election whenever it comes and make an assault on Westminster, metaphorically speaking, as David Clues from UNN pointed out to me. I said that on his show the other day, and he said, "You're talking about metaphorically." Yes, I'm not meaning a literal assault, which will get me into trouble with the police, but a political assault at the ballot box, which is what we want to do, and to restore freedom and democracy in our nation. So God bless you all. Have a good day. Keep fighting. Keep fighting the good fight.